Good evening and welcome. My name is Jacqueline Powell. I am the moderator for this year's Candidates Forum. By way of background, I'm a local attorney and a small business owner. My husband and I are West Sacramento residents, and our children attend school in Washington Unified School District. I am also a current director and past board chair of the West Sacramento Chamber of Commerce and a past president of the Rotary Club of West Sacramento. I'd like to welcome our viewers on Facebook and thank you for joining us this evening. Tonight's forum is brought to you by the West Sacramento Chamber of Commerce. Hosting the Candidates Forum is part of the Chamber's service to the community. However, and importantly, the Chamber does not endorse candidates. The goal of the forum is to introduce the candidates to the community and allow voters to learn more about their positions and platform. Let's start by going over the rules. This is a forum, not a debate. We intend to ask thoughtful questions and get thoughtful responses. Candidates, please direct your answers to the audience and not your fellow candidates. Please also do not interrupt or make sounds while another candidate is speaking. I will adjust the order in which I ask candidates the questions so that you each have a chance to be the first to answer. I will indicate how much time is allowed per question. We have a timekeeper who will provide a 30-second warning of your remaining time and a 15-second warning. The 15-second warning means you need to complete your final sentence or thought. The timekeeper will hold up a stop sign when your time is up. If necessary, I will politely interrupt if you exceed your time. To help the voters watching this forum, we ask that you draw contrasts between you and the other candidates, but again, do not attack. We encourage you to be specific when answering questions, offer clear solutions, and avoid repeating what has already been said. When necessary, you may be asked to give a brief clarification of your answer for the benefit of our audience and may be asked a follow-up question. We encourage our viewers to share questions in the online chat. We will add community questions as we're able and if time allows. To discuss the upcoming election process, we are joined remotely by Jesse Salinas, the Yolo County Chief Election Official.
Hello, my name is Jesse Salinas. I am Yolo County's Assessor, Clerk, Recorder, and Register of Voters. Today, I'm here as your Register of Voters to share with you some important dates to keep in mind. The first is October 21st, which is the last day to register for this upcoming election. And another key date is October 26th, when we will be opening our first vote center there in West Sacramento at City Hall. Other key dates to remember are November 2nd, which our other two locations of vote centers in West Sacramento will be opening up on that date. So in addition to our vote centers, we have drop boxes that are located throughout West Sacramento. I want to encourage you to visit our website at elections.yolocounty.gov to learn more about these vote centers and drop boxes and their locations. You can also learn more information about these candidates at our website. So I encourage you to visit our website when you have a moment. And I want to wish the candidates the best of luck at tonight's forum and to thank you for this opportunity to share this valuable information to all of you. Thank you.
Tonight's first forum features two candidates for Washington Unified School District Trustee, Area 3. We have Patrice Griffith and Jannette Hunt. Thank you both for joining us this evening. Let's get started with your opening statements. You have 2 minutes to introduce yourself to our online audience, provide some background about yourself, and explain why you are running for Washington Unified School District Trustee Area 3. Prior to tonight, we randomly selected who will go first. We will begin with Jannette Hunt.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jannette Hunt, and I'm a mom of 2 elementary students in our school district. I'm also a wife and a first-generation Mexican-American. I've spent a lot of hours volunteering in the classroom and held leadership roles in the parent-teacher organization of my children's campus. I'm also a senior financial specialist for the United States Geological Survey, which is a federal agency. I've been with the USGS since I was a student at Sac State. With my experience at USGS, I have a lot of years managing multi-million-dollar budgets that are funded by tax dollars. In that experience, we've made difficult budget decisions and made sure that we were executing tax dollars with the most efficiency possible. I'm running because I want to be an advocate for your family, my family, and especially the families who feel like they don't have a voice out there. We know that's not true. We know that everybody has a voice, but a lot of time we feel like we may not have that pathway to district leadership, and I want to help bridge that gap. I also prioritize enhancing school safety. This isn't just physical safety, but emotional safety, mental safety, every aspect of what that word means for you, your family, my family as well. I've been endorsed by the classified staff of the Washington Unified School District. These are our bus drivers, custodians, yard staff, librarians, office staff, the list goes on. They've listened to me, and I'm honored that they appreciate my values. Thank you.
Patrice.
Good evening. My name is Patrice Griffith. I am a mother of 3 children and married to my husband. My children are 23, 16, and 9, and I am a community volunteer and advocate for students, parents, teachers, and educators. I graduated from Cal State East Bay with a degree in business with minors in both real estate and marketing, and also hold a California real estate license. I work for a local higher education institution and serve as their director of real estate. I have a 25-year career in the public and private sector of facilities, project, property, and construction management, and I also oversee a multi-million-dollar budget, but across a portfolio of buildings that includes classrooms, medical spaces, labs, cultural programming, and even an apartment community specifically built for the educators of the institution where I work. Now, I can reuse the remaining of my 2 minutes to continue talking about my bio, but what I want to tell you is what you won't discover by Googling me. You won't discover why I'm running. I'm running because countless people sacrificed their time for my growth and success. If it weren't for my parents, for teachers like Mr. Matthews and Mrs. Shimabukuro, I wouldn't be sitting here today. They taught me to carry while I climb, and I will continue to do nothing less. I'm running because my civic engagement has allowed me to witness the value of service to others. I have seen the outcome West Sacramento families have had when I adopted them, and they're giving up so much of their time and hours in order to serve the community as a whole. And I want to do that because I want to live in a community where we build each other up versus tear each other down. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statements. Let's get to the questions. Since we started with Jannette for opening statements, we are going to pose the first question to Patrice. We're starting with a general question. Patrice, what is your educational philosophy and how would it influence your decisions as a school board member? You'll have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you. My educational philosophy is one where children come in a variety of forms. And that's just not in a physical nature, but in the education, in the way that they learn. My pants are not going to fit you. Your pants will most likely not fit me. And therefore, we have different types of school, just as we do in the district. We have your K-8 schools. We have high schools. We have our Washington Community College, Washington Middle College, where children learn so much, but they actually learn and earn their associates by the time they graduate. We have a virtual college. We have YOLO High. We're going to dual immersion. It's because children learn differently. And because children learn differently, that means our teachers, too, have to teach differently. And we need to continue investing in our teachers because that is an overflow and a direct result to our students. So in terms of the way that they learn, they're learning inside the classroom, but outside the classroom. We're working on, luckily through the district, outdoor space through a major grant because we understand that our children are learning on different platforms. They're not learning traditionally by sitting at a desk every single day looking at a board with one teacher. We have a multitude of teachers now, and we're lucky for that in some of our spaces, and we're learning in different ways, but we're also learning through community partnerships and community schools after realizing that it's not just about the child, it's about the family as a whole. So services that we're offering to that child extend to the family because we realize if that household is doing well, that child is doing well in the classroom.
Thank you. Jannette, same question. What is your educational philosophy and how would it influence your decision as a school board member?
Yeah, thank you. So in my generation growing up, it was very much go to high school, go to college, and further your education. And that's what I did. And as I'm raising my children now, it's very important to me and my husband that we are open in what our children do after high school. And I think it's very important to bring that into the district as well. The district is already doing great things with technical programs and preparing our students for the real world outside of high school and outside of this school district. And I would like to continue those programs and enhance those programs, make sure they're spread equitably across the entire district. Like Patrice was saying, every child learns completely different. And we are learning that more now than ever, especially after the pandemic. And the way we teach our children needs to evolve with our students. A third grader today is very different than a third grader was 4 years ago. And our staff must evolve with those students. So again, professional development and making sure that everybody feels comfortable with what we're teaching our students. We also need to bring in programs into our everyday classrooms like social emotional learning and mental health programs so that students are learning this in their day-to-day classrooms. It's very important. We know that it's important in the way students are learning today. Nobody's going to learn the same way. There's already programs in the district that we need to continue, again, across all of our campuses to make sure that we can pull students out and teach them the way that they would like to learn. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is going to be posed to Jannette first. Again, you'll have 2 minutes to respond. The Washington Unified School District strategic plan includes readiness for college, career, and life as a goal. What specific initiatives or programs would you propose or support moving forward to better prepare Washington Unified School District students for their futures, whether that involves higher education, entering the workforce, or other post-graduation paths? Specific initiatives.
Okay, thank you. So as I just said, technical schools or technical programs specifically, teaching the student hands-on, right? Let's learn how to change tires or change the oil, just a couple of examples. These are the jobs in our community that a lot of our students are going to graduate from high school and end up getting. I've been endorsed by the Sacramento Sierra Building and Construction Trades Council. These are the people right here in our community that work for a trade. And they share the same passion as I do to assure that we're preparing our students for real life experiences like a trades job. I think we can also work with our business community and offer mentorships, job shadowing, internships, just to give our students that hands-on experience. Even at a younger grade. We're offering some of these programs in our high school or adult education, but let's think about offering that in middle school. A lot of the students in our community begin work at the young age of early high school, right? So let's get them that shadowing and hands-on experience early on so that they know what it looks like and can make a decision with their family if that's something they would like to pursue in their future.
Thank you. Patrice, same question. Do you want me to repeat it?
Please.
Okay. The Washington Unified School District strategic plan includes readiness for college, career, and life as a goal. What specific initiatives or programs would you propose or support moving forward to better prepare Washington Unified School District students for their futures, whether that involves higher education, entering the workforce, or other post-graduation plans?
Thank you. So there are a handful of programs now that we have, not just in our district, but also available through the Yolo County Office of Education. Some of those programs I've had the opportunity to work with and actually bring to West Sacramento, to our district, some of them at no cost to the district. So there's a Building Foundations course that's actually offered at the high school level, and it starts in freshman class. The students actually put together a resume. They learn, going backwards, what type of lifestyle they want to live. And then that will lead them to the type of job that they need to have. So they can actually choose from a list of jobs saying, okay, if I want to own a house versus rent an apartment, these are the types of jobs, this is how much money I need to make. So in that Building Foundations class, I've actually had the opportunity to sit with those students and be one of the people performing mock interviews. The contract that the district holds with NCCT Construction is another amazing opportunity for our kids who have brought home multiple awards in that program. My own son actually was in that program. He was in CREATE, which is another opportunity that kids have to work hands-on in addition to our agricultural programs, broadcasting, a number of other things that expose our students to these areas so when they graduate, they have an idea of what they want to do, and does that require a college level education or otherwise. Additionally, programs like West Sac Home Run, majorly beneficial to our students, and so many are taking advantage, and we see that growth increase year after year, as well as our, yes, where YOLO empowers students. That program as well allows our students to become advocates for the services they want to see in their schools, and therefore better preparing them for the future.
Thank you. The next question will be to Patrice. Again, 2 minutes to respond. Given the rise in serious incidents on and around campuses, do you support the recent decision to fund the return of a school resource officer, and why or why not?
Thank you. As a parent of a Washington Unified School District student and engaged community member, I undoubtedly support a safer educational environment. Last year, I decided to be part of the solution versus solely paying a verbal contribution to the subject at hand. I spoke with local municipalities discussing ways to strengthen relationships, partnered with a nonprofit for an opportunity to bring students to the table with our lawmakers, with our law enforcement officers, so that they can learn to advocate for what they want in their schools. Out of this work, more events like this will take place this year, and hopefully some of these will be at zero cost to the district. While I continue lending a hand to this and other initiatives, I look forward to the opportunity to join the school board and engage in community as well as with partners, their feedback, and on these issues as promised by the current Washington Unified School District Board. In terms of actionable items, I've defended our students' safety in the past. 8 years ago, there was a nest that was actually going in. It was a pedestrian stop, and it was going to affect students at Stonegate, Southport, and River City. Although others agreed with me behind the scenes, they were afraid to speak publicly in front of City Council, but not me. I respectfully spoke at City Council meetings, submitted public records requests, and gathered police reports. This ultimately ended up supporting my concerns. After holding a multitude of press conferences and interviews with media outlets, ultimately the project was removed, and I have no doubt students were safer because of it. I will continue this work on this level at any cost for the safety of our children. And actually in terms of any cost, we have to look at that in fiscal responsibility, because we can actually have other ways to support our children in our schools.
Thank you. I do want to follow up on that question. So you do support or you do not support the decision to fund?
I do support the decision for SROs in our schools.
Okay.
Yes.
And then so the decision to fund the SROs is specifically for River City High. And can you elaborate a little further on ideas you may have around keeping the K through 8 schools safe?
So, I'm sorry, when you say that the decision to fund an SRO specifically for River City, is that what you as the chamber are saying, or?
That's what I should say that's what I thought. I could be wrong. Okay.
So the decision by the school board, which I was present at that meeting, is for one SRO for the entire district consisting of 10 schools.
Okay.
It is not specifically for one school, but let's say that is not correct. What is your question?
What would be your proposal or idea solution for keeping the elementary schools safe from violence or the unthinkable situation?
So first of all, I do want to thank West Sac Police for being very responsive to the incidents that have occurred in or around all of our campuses. In terms of K-8 schools, we're looking at about close to $3 million in an already $5 million deficit to the budget. So if we want an officer at every school, because this was the train of thought that people are thinking, well, every school's getting an officer. Do we have that type of money in our budget? And more importantly, what are we going to have to sacrifice for our children when we already have a stellar police department here? What money could we use to offer services for additional therapy or counseling to our children to really get to the root of the issue versus put a Band-Aid over our schools?
Jannette, same question. We'll start with the first one. Given the rise in serious incidents on and around campuses, do you support the recent decision to fund the return of a school resource officer? Why or why not?
Yeah, thank you. As a parent, my number one priority is to keep my kids safe. And as a group of leaders, I hope that a school board's number one priority is to keep all students safe as well. I believe that, when you're making decisions for thousands of families, school safety should be your priority. And I believe that the school board does prioritize school safety right now. I do support partnering with West Sac PD to bring on trained officers onto our campuses. Partnering with public safety officials can only enhance the way we keep our schools safe. The school board recently approved funding for one SRO into the district. I'd like to see over time a phased approach to bring on additional SROs, to bring on additional officers across all of our campuses in the district. It shouldn't be a funding issue. There isn't a dollar amount that's too high to keep our schools safe. I prefer to fund SROs over an athletic trainer, let's say. I'm fully aware that SROs is not the solution to school safety. This is one piece of the puzzle. We've heard teachers say they would like additional roles on campus, like additional counselors or psychologists, to get to the root of some of the issues they're seeing on campuses. Absolutely. All of that is part of the school safety puzzle. SROs are a big portion of it. I think it's critical that we obtain feedback from our stakeholders. This is our families, our students, our staff members. Let's get their feedback now, right, and understand what they think the priorities should be when we think about school safety. And as we know, an SRO is coming on campus eventually, whether it's at River City or throughout the district. Let's get feedback at that point as well to see how the community feels after we've seen somebody on our campuses.
Thank you. And similar follow-up question. So this school resource officer will only be at one campus at a time. What ideas do you have to keep let's assume he's at River City. What other ideas do you have to keep the other schools safe?
So thank you. So again, in the future, ideally we would see officers at all of our campuses. This will build relationships with students at a young age. We've seen the issue come up about a lot of our families may not feel comfortable around an officer. That's very true, but if we start building those relationships in elementary school, that can only enhance those relationships that our young children are having with officers. As of right now, if we're only going to have one SRO district-wide, I think other programs we can bring on, there's a lot of virtual content, whether it's through Yolo County or at a state level, that we can start teaching our children, our staff members, about how important safety is, how we treat others, bringing on additional roles, right, like the counseling or the psychologists, et cetera. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question will be to Jannette. Sorry to pile on. There are ongoing concerns about the safety and health of the district office building. What would be your immediate steps to ensure a safe working environment for all employees? Given time constraints, I'm actually going to limit this to 1 minute.
Okay. So I'm sorry, can you repeat the last part of that question?
Yeah, so I'll say the whole thing since it was a little jumbled. There are ongoing concerns about the safety and health of the district office building. What would your immediate steps be to ensure a safe working environment for all employees?
Yeah, thank you. So bringing in professionals to really understand what those risks are. The district may have done that already, I'm not sure. But if we haven't, let's really understand what those risks are and start remedying them. Right, bringing the staff into portions of the campus that we know are safe for our staff. And if they're not, let's look at other district-owned places that we can move people temporarily while we fix the issues that are at the current district office.
Thank you. Patrice, same question. Do you want me to repeat it?
Please do.
Okay. There are ongoing concerns about the safety and health of the district office building. What would be your immediate steps to ensure a safe working environment for all employees?
Thank you. Due to the fact that the permitting process, and this is in no way speaking ill of West Sacramento, this is across the board, the permitting process is long when we're looking at repairing our current facilities in order to occupy them from being vacant to occupied. Because of that, I have looked into the situation in depth and think that the best thing to do is to relocate offices. There were 3 options given, a multitude of years and costs, but now there is a way to move those district offices by saving about close to $3.5 million out of those options, and also covering the parking for the district employees and the visitors taking place at that location. And I just think that that's the best way to go, because that puts the health and safety at the forefront of this issue.
Thank you. All right, next question again to Patrice. One of Washington Unified School District's equity principles is ensuring that all students are provided access and opportunity to resources and relevant education and life experiences for individual success. What is your plan to address existing disparities in resource allocation and educational opportunities in the school district?
Okay. So I think one of those plans I actually worked on before even running, and that is community schools. Community schools are spread through 4 campuses in Washington Unified School District, and they provide additional learning and enrichment programs, as well as student support services, and an additional layer of joint leadership and needed services for the entire family. Since its inception, I've actually been on that cost committee for community schools because I see the importance of it. Even prior to that being formed, I ended up joining the YOLO Food Bank and starting a free farmers market specifically for our high school children in the district, because I saw this as a need to be filled. All of these things help the child perform better in school, which make it easier for the teacher to teach. And in turn, we are helping both of those groups of people, in addition to every educator who's working on that site. So making sure that those students have access to that education, to those opportunities, is instrumental. Community schools also ensure that students are provided with educational resources, support, and assistance to medical, vision, dental, mental health, food, and even basic needs such as school supplies and feminine products. By continuing to offer these services, again, we're increasing that student success rate, and we're increasing in the classroom environment that environment that they're in, and that in turn helps the teacher as well. So I've also had the pleasure to speak with students, to bring in speakers, to talk to our kids about scholarship opportunities, tutoring, college application process, and other things that will not only help them in the classroom, but outside of the classroom.
Thank you. Jannette, same question. One of Washington Unified School District's equity principles is ensuring that all students are provided access and opportunity to resources and relevant education and life experiences for individual success. What is your plan to address existing disparities in resource allocation and educational opportunities in the school district?
Yeah, in terms of resource allocation, the first thing I would do is assure that our district resources are allocated fairly across all of our sites. It's typically done by count of students, right? Head count and who's there on a daily basis. However, we know that portions of our community might need additional support than other pieces of our community. We really need to communicate with, again, our stakeholders, our community members, staff, students, and understand what the needs are at each site so we can understand how we can help them at each individual site. Things like community schools, the expanded learning opportunities program, ELOP, which is a lot of the after-school programs. We need to expand those programs equitably to all of our campuses so that they are available for all students. The district has done amazing things in both community schools and the ELOP program, which is a part of community schools, but currently it's not accessible to all of our students. I think that's something we can change right now. We also have a lot of amazing roles in our district, like social workers and outreach specialists. Let's make sure that those are spread equitably across our district as well, and that they're touching those families that really need the support. How do we know who those families are? We need to, again, engage and make sure that we have that open communication between those families, between those students, to understand what the needs are and make sure we're supporting them in the right way. Thank you.
Thank you. The final question is an online question, which I'm going to direct to Jannette first. The question is, how would you balance the needs of school safety with other priorities for emotional support, mental health, after-school tutoring, and other quote-unquote whole child needs?
Yeah, so there's a million things, right, that we need to do to make sure that we are educating and raising the entire child, which is one of the district's goals, right? We're not just educating you in the ABCs and 1, 2, 3. We want to educate you as a whole. We have these competing priorities, right? Safety, mental health. In my experience working with budgets, we really need to understand, again, what is needed in each of those categories and how much that's going to cost. There's so much funding out there available to school districts at a state level, at a federal level, at a private level. We need to go out and do that research and attain additional funding for some of these programs. It takes a lot of work to find that funding and to obtain that funding, but I know it's out there. I've been successful in obtaining additional millions in my own work. We just have to find it and put the people to it. But again, in order to really understand what is needed, we need to engage with our stakeholders, communicate, and be transparent. That's super important that our community really understands what we're doing. There could be a lot of work being done in the background, but our community, or the person who asked this question, may not be aware because that transparency piece could be missing. The district could already be looking at how we can achieve these priorities with funding that's already available to them. But as long as we continue to keep that communication open and are transparent, I think as a community we can become more comfortable with all of the needs of our school district and how we are managing them.
Thank you. Patrice, same online question. How would you balance the needs of school safety with other priorities for emotional support, mental health, after-school tutoring, and other quote-unquote whole child needs?
Okay, so there is grant funding, and anyone who writes a grant is coveted. This grant funding is both at the local, state, and federal level, and I was able, for example, thinking outside of the box, able to assist in the Bloomberg grant. So that was attained through the city. But there was some background work looking into that and figuring out, okay, we take this grant, it helps our youth, but that money of $50,000 was scattered. It was scattered to Bright Campus who applied. It was scattered to the gardening committee at the high school level for a group that applied there. We can do that same thing to help support our children with school safety, with mental health. There are other ways. I toured a school recently because it's not just about this district and looking inside the box that we're in. Think outside the box. What are other schools doing? We are all in the same predicament. And another school has a dedicated space on campus for that counselor, and they partnered with another group to get funding for that counselor and to have that counselor within the district, which saves a position. Right? So we're looking at different ways already on how we can help our students, how we can empower them, but also what do the students want and need? What issues are they going through? What are they advocating for? You would be shocked when you sit with these students and what they tell you. They know how to speak up for themselves. They will tell you what they want. And we couple that with the voices of the community. We couple that with the voices of the board. Because when we're elected into this office, it is not just about our individualistic agenda. It is about what other people are asking for. And we need to take that into consideration, even on this issue here.
Thank you. All right, that concludes our questions for the evening. I've run over time, so they're going to boo me off the stage here in a minute. We will end with your closing statement. You have 2 minutes to make your comments. We will begin with Patrice.
Thank you. In the words of a community school staff member, the relationships I have created thus far are transformational, not transactional. I do not have an individualistic agenda. I have a holistic agenda because I am invested in the future of every student, teacher, and educator in this district. Teachers have chosen a career path to uplift our children, to aid in their growth, and these children, teachers, and educators deserve more than they are currently given. Some individuals have skills to offer, some care, but unfortunately, the opportunity for authentic collaboration is a barrier that hinders the growth of our educational community. I simply see a need, and I fill it, with genuine action and proven outcomes. This has led to my contribution in enhancing the district's inclusive efforts by taking an active role, not waiting to take an active role. My work has gained the attention of the Yolo County Office of Education, who have asked me to lend a helping hand, planning opportunities in this district to benefit our students later this year. I am known for actively listening while respectfully responding. I've become a community fixture, unifying many through active engagement, and my service to others is a testament to my reputation. I will continue using my resources to help others, not for self-serving purposes. To those who have joined me in these efforts, I thank you. And to those thinking about joining in these inclusive efforts, I hope you will. I have the official endorsement of the West Sacramento Teachers Association, the Sacramento Area Firefighters Local 522, alongside a multitude of you watching now and many other community members. My job offers flexibility for me to take on this role, board trustee, and my family is in full support. I look forward to transforming my years of programmatic work to lending a helpful hand in creating as well as shaping policies.
Thank you. Jannette?
Hi, thank you. So this position is about the future and what I can bring as an individual to the school board. And I want to help the district continue to thrive. I've made an impact thus far at one school, my children's school. I've put hours of volunteer efforts into that, and I'm very proud of everything that I've done there, behind the scenes and on the campus. And I'm excited to have that opportunity to make that same impact district-wide. A vote for me is a vote for enhanced school safety, enhanced resource management, and a commitment to always keep inclusion and equity at the top of my mind. Those are my values, and I will always stay true to my values. My promise to you is that I will listen to you. I will listen to you, regardless if you are a parent, a staff member, or a student, and I will make sure that I carry your message to the rest of the district leadership. School employees know this, current board members know this, and the community knows this as well. I'd like to thank the Chamber for putting this on. Jacqueline, Patrice, thank you for the conversation. And as you all are voting over the next couple of weeks, don't forget to fill in the little box next to Jannette Hunt for Trustee Area 3. I'm excited to have your support and to be given the opportunity to make a difference in this district in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of our first forum this evening. Coming up next will be the candidates for Washington Unified School District Area 4. Please join us after a short break.